All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to put together the Champion's counter holder. For putting this together, I'm going to be using some Elmer's Craft Bond tacky glue. Other glues you might use would be Titebond translucent wood glue. Either way, a nice tacky, sticky glue that helps hold things together as you're assembling them is preferable. I'm also going to use some rubber bands to hold things together, and some little office binder clips to hold some small pieces tight as the glue dries. If you've got any sorts of clamps or other stuff like that, you can feel free to use those as well, but I'm not going to assume you have anything beyond just some basic stuff that hopefully folks have laying around. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pop these out. I have gone ahead and pre-sanded them a little bit. There can be some little burn marks on the back side. It's just a natural byproduct of cutting these with a laser cutter. So I've pre-sanded this a bit. You could obviously sand this a little bit more than I have, but a little light sanding at least makes it feel smoother and reduces some of this burn look. If you do end up using a palm sander on these, it's very likely that the parts may go ahead and vibrate out because of the vibration of the palm sander. So just keep that in mind. So these parts here can be a little bit tricky to get out, and because the wood grain runs this way, which makes more sense for the overall stability of the piece, but that makes these a little bit more fragile. So be careful and deliberate when punching these out. You might end up finding that a utility knife might be useful for breaking some of the fibers of the wood that span those parts. There's one, two more to go. So I guess I lied earlier when I said all you need is the glue, the rubber bands, and the clips. Utility knife might be helpful. So it's always a good idea to dry fit these things together before you put them together yourself. There are little things that can throw you, like where one of these notches is. You might have part of it put together one way and part of it put together sort of the opposite way, and wouldn't really notice it until you already had the glue on everything. So I will dry fit it together myself. So you'll notice how here we've got this one little notch, not as deep as this one, and this one we've got this thing here. So I think I've actually got this backwards. There we go. I believe this is correct, and we will, let's see here. Well, this definitely is going to go here. So then that means that this would go here, but it has to go this way. So the fingers are facing here. These have to face the same way. So this would go here. And this would go here, making sure that the circles line up. Circles and those little rectangular cutouts. All right. So this is actually turned around. This needs to go this way. Actually, it goes like this. See, this is precisely why you need to dry fit it first, because there are little subtle things you aren't going to notice. Like, notice at this point, there's no finger there. Actually, I may need to fix that later. There probably should be. All right, so this is looking about right to me. So then we have these various pieces here. So these need to go in the right places here. You'll notice that we've got basically 3 different shapes and sizes of these things here. 3 of these with the little comb looking thing here. 1 that has just about the same profile as this, except it's a little bit different right here. And then this one that has a much deeper cutout on it, right? This is a little bigger. So this one matches that cutout. These three match this cutout. The three of these with the little comb type thing, you'll notice that on one of these slots are longer than here, where some of these slots are just squares. This one right here goes into the side with the squares. I'm gonna put this here like that. I'm gonna do the same thing with the other two that have the little cutouts there. Like that. Then this, that has the same shape cutout as that one, takes the next slot. So you'll notice this has a taller top finger, and this has a taller top slot. So that's going to go there like that. This one here will go like this. All right. So once we get these more or less lined up as you see them here, I'm then going to take this piece and get these things slotted in here. And I'm doing all of this without any glue. Partially just because I want to dry fit it first, and partially because this will all be pretty much captured in here, so we don't really need to have these parts glued at all. Once we glue the other outer parts, these things will all be caught. There we are. I can take a little bit of wiggling to get it in there. Once you do, it should hold together pretty well like that. I'm going to set this aside, kind of like that for the moment. And start to glue everything up around here. So this come in here like so. Probably should have done this a little bit earlier, but there we are. And I keep doing this in these prototypes. Put some glue in here that I wasn't supposed to, so that's where the token tube is going to go. So I don't want any interference there, so I'm going to go ahead and scrape that off. I'm just going to make sure you notice this little notch, this little tab goes into the little notch here. All right, so once we have all of that together, I'll go ahead and drop the lid in here. I won't pop it back into place yet because in case there's any glue that squeezes out in there, I don't want it to glue the lid shut, which is a possibility. Double some rubber bands over a few times. Wrap them around here to get a good tight glue bond. Now, if you have any clamps or, friction clamps or band clamps or anything else like that, you could feel free to get fancy with stuff like that, as I often do, but you don't necessarily need them. You'll see here, we don't have a very good marrying of those joints there yet, so that's why you want to have a bunch of rubber bands around here to pull tight at all points. All right, there we go. Just let that dry up.